Todd, I'm the Flat Rate Master, and let's talk about finding your niche in auto repair. We all have certain skills that we develop. We increase our skills hopefully over time, but generally there's always a niche we wind up either getting lumped into or moving our path that way. Now for me, it's been diagnostics. I've been the guy in the shop for all of my career except when I first started out. When I first started out, those newfangled fuel injection stuff kind of confused the old dogs. And so I became the diagnostic guy. And before this shop, I was the guy. I was the lead guy. I was the diagnostic guy, whatever the fake title was, because I was just a tech that did the stuff other people couldn't do. When it comes to finding what your niche is, it can very much be the situation of the shop you're in, where you get pigeonholed into, oh, you're the heavy line guy, you're the brake and suspension guy, you're this guy or that guy. Now, I do my best here at this shop to not have anybody pigeonholed. The only pigeonhole I have is Aaron, who is still the low man on the totem pole as far as skills. He's growing every day, so don't think for a second I don't give him other stuff. But he's still the oil change guy. He's still the young dog. He's still the one doing a chunk of oil changes. Not all of them, but he does a chunk of them. And I give him other stuff because I want to increase his skills. A lot of shops don't work that way. Coming up in this business in my day, it always worked the same way. You went to a shop, you were the oil change BS tech that did, basic stuff, bulbs, yada, 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 yada. And then you moved to brakes and steering and suspension. And then you moved up to heavy line. And if you ever got good enough at fixing what you screwed up, you moved to diagnostics. Well, nowadays, it's a lot less pigeonholy, at least in my world as far as what I see. Not saying it doesn't happen, I'm just saying I see it less and less in the groups and everything that I associate with. Let's talk about working your way towards a niche that fits you better. Bam Bam is a great example. He's a really good diag guy, but he loves heavy line. He loves it, loves it, loves it. I don't. So before he became shop foreman downstairs, he was my heavy line guy. Why? Because he loved it. Did I give him other stuff? Oh yeah. I gave him diagnostics. I gave him everything under the sun, but any heavy line stuff, because he was the guy that wanted the heavy line, got heavy line. That's what you need to do when you're trying to get into a niche, is you need to let everybody know, I love dash pulls. I want to be in, if you've got a dash pull, I want to do it. That's the kind of stuff I like. Yes, there's guys out there that like dash pulls, not me. I'll pull them, but it's not my favorite job. Or heavy line. Diagnostics is the one that is the hardest to get into because you have to build up a lot of trust because, diagnostics can go south really bad when you don't have a good diag tech. Oh, it needs a PCM. No, it needed you to fix the wire that was broke that you didn't check because you didn't check powers and grounds because you pulled a code and you threw a PCM at it, that kind of stuff. So when it comes to finding your niche, in a shop, it's going to vary. Always tell whoever's in charge of distributing tickets, I like this kind of work. If you've got any of this kind of work. Now, obviously, flushes and all that stuff is not an acceptable preference. We all love gravy all day. If I could do Honda timing belts all day, I could make easily 120 hours a week if we had enough of them, but I can't take all the Honda timing belts. We don't see that many of them, Anyway, so that's what you need to do. Now, let's talk about actually figuring out what your preference is. This is something that a lot of people don't truly understand, when they're working, yeah, there's, oh, that's tickets, that job's gravy, and they'll gravitate towards that. Especially in the dealership environment, they'll go, oh man, I love those jobs. Specific jobs isn't a niche, but finding and figuring out what you actually like to do the most is something that is entirely personal. Maybe you'll be pigeonholed and, maybe you're the steering and suspension guy and that's what you like to do and want to keep doing it. Great. I don't like doing suspension that much. I mean, I'd rather have a scan tool in my hand than a wrench. But that's just me. So look around, see what jobs you actually really like doing, and figure out your niche. Maybe you can gravitate in your shop to that niche role of doing, whatever you like to do. You'll be a lot happier considering, oh, I struggle with diagnostics, I don't want them, but they keep giving them to me. But man, what I really like to do is do engines and transmissions all day, or dash pulls or something like that. Figure out what your niche is, what you like to do, and tell everybody about it, because you may wind up getting all that stuff. Because a lot of times the people that like certain jobs, a lot of people don't. I've known guys that love dash pulls. I've known guys that love heavy line stuff. I love guys that will, pull an engine out to reseal it any day of the week. Goes into the heavy line, but, find what you like, find out what you're good at, and do your best to make sure you get all of it. As always, thanks for watching. I am the Flat Rate Master.